fly fishing doesn't take you any place that isn't worth being.
Morning in the mountains of North Georgia are a special time. The rivers and creeks are teeming with fishermen. They watch the waters, then cast their lines in the currents. A fly rolls across the surface, hoping for one riser.
That desire to go after that fish, it just seems like it's something that's either born into you or it isn't.
Bill Oyster is one of those fishermen. A Wyoming native, Oyster came to Georgia when he was just a kid and has now found a unique place among Georgia's anglers.
Beginning to end, it's hard to say how many steps are in the process. It depends on how you define a step, you know. There's probably 30 major steps, but of each of those steps, you know, there may be 30 steps to get you through that one step.
Before mass production, when fiberglass rods were created with factory certainty, there was bamboo. It stood the test of time. For more than 100 years, bamboo was the building material of the growing fishing industry. After fiberglass nearly eradicated the old-time tradition of using bamboo to cast their lines, bamboo's undergone a rebirth with today's anglers.
Yeah, bamboo is the original, it's the traditional way it was done. It's as an American fly fisher, this is our samurai sword. This is the tradition of the American fly fisher. Is we invented it, perfected it, and to a lot of people it's still the standard worldwide.
From his workshop in Blue Ridge, Oyster brings that past alive. He uses these same tools generations of rod builders used before him. He crafts heirloom rods from a single split stalk of bamboo.
But it's basically a week's worth of work to make the most basic fly rod, and that's full days. But all of our rods that we make have to be cosmetically perfect as well as structurally, or as close to perfect as you can get.
The people don't want the mass productions of rods anymore. They want hand-carved bamboo. That's why for more than 15 years, Oyster Bamboos created rods for anglers worldwide. The rod won't help you reel in the catch you always wanted. Bamboo isn't even the secret to lure in a fish. It's more than that. It is everlasting, something that is handed down father to son. So whether you are the worst or best fisherman, what you cast into the currents will remind you of the past, no matter what you reel in.
A lot of people just appreciate that traditional aspect of it. And you know, it's a wood-made thing versus a plastic thing, you know. So I think for a lot of people it's that traditional historic appeal. And they're also rods that are going to last for hundreds of years. You know, it's not a disposable tool. It's something that you pass down and can become an heirloom for generations.
In his workshop, Oyster's created rods for the most humble of fishermen to the leaders of the free world.
Yeah, we've made a few rods for former President Carter, who is a big fly fisherman.
Bamboo is catching on. His classes are full of eager students who are ditching their fiberglass rods to experience the smooth wood of their ancestors and the old ways of the handcrafted rod.
I think if anything's going to keep the craft alive, it's all of these hobby makers that we're turning loose out there. And a lot of them, you know, they'll have no interest in it as a business or anything, and that's what I tell people, you know, come and experience making something yourself. And that's a rod then they're going to pass on, and it's not just Granddaddy's fly rod, but it's the rod Granddaddy made himself with his own two hands. Thanks to the internet, you don't have to be the biggest. If you're the best, they'll find you.
Engraved in metal, stained on wood, these are pieces of art that bend with the weight of a prized catch on the end of the line.
We hope it means something more to them because we put a lot more into the rods, and hopefully they're getting a lot more out of them as well.
The bamboo is what shimmers now in the light of dawn, and it dominates the anglers in Georgia. The fly lure dances across the water. Some things will never change. In Blue Ridge, Mike Paluska, CBS 46 News.